everyone, I'm Mike from Regala Photography, where we talk about everything photography. Today, I'm going to do the final review of a third Dehancer film emulation app. It's their iOS app that works on both their iPhones as well as on the iPad. Okay, I'm going to demonstrate it on the iPhone, but everything is pretty much the same on the iPad, just a bigger screen, bigger layout, etc. Okay, so let's get started with this. All right, as you guys may remember from my last couple Dehancer videos, Dehancer is a film emulation software. It can allow you to make your digital photos look as if they were taken on organic film, regular film, and not digital. And this is huge because, I mean, for years, people have been trying to do this with presets, and, you know, they look okay. But I tell you, Dehancers really, they nail the algorithm of different film stocks. There's a few that I think look the best. However, everybody's got different preferences. I know a lot of reviewers like the Fuji film stocks. Me personally, I love the Kodak film stock. So, you know, everybody's going to have a different preference, which is, again, that's really good too. So we're going to get started. I'm going to go real quick because most of these settings are going to be identical to what was on both the Lightroom Photoshop app, the plugin for Lightroom and Photoshop, and also on the Final Cut Pro, the video that I did last time. So let's get right into it here. I want to kind of keep this one short. Again, I'm not going to go into complete detail with this one, only because I've pretty much exhausted every function that's in this app. I just wanted to show you the features are pretty much the same as the other plugins and the other versions of Dehancer. So as you can see here, I have a photo of my dog. I took this on my iPhone 14 Pro Max. It is unedited. I think I used portrait mode for this particular one. And right now we are on the preset module right here. And you can switch to all the different film stocks that are offered here. So let me see. I'm going to go try to pick a favorite of mine here. Let me see here. Why don't we do Kodak Ektar? Looks really, really good. The 25. Let me see. Kodachrome looks good. Supra. Well, let me go back over here to the Ektar. I really love with this particular photo. We'll do the Ektar. Okay, you can see it kind of warmed it up, put a little more contrast, etc. So now, over here on the right-hand side, you'll see it has an edit button. So you click that to do edit. Way over to the left, if you want to switch your photo, you can just click on that, and that'll allow you to change your photos. Okay, to put whatever photo you want in there. All the way to the far right, you click that button, that's your share button. So you can export it to your phone, you can share it to social media, etc. All the way at the bottom, got save, share, sort, so you can sort your photos, and also category. And category is different categories of film stock. So I can do different ones all here. So here's all presets right there. So, and again, there's probably a few more like here. Yeah, here's the Portra. Again, the Portra actually looks pretty good too. The Supra, that's okay. Kodachrome, yeah, I'm going to stick with the, this one is a very, very popular one, the Kodak Gold 200. Definitely, it's a consumer version of the Portra films that Kodak came out with. It was much cheaper. I mean, literally, it was only a couple dollars for a roll of film. You got like 36 shots on it. I really, really did like that one. I'm going to go and we're going to go with the Ektar, I think. Let me see. Let me click undo. There we go. So we are going to go undo again, and we're going to go undo again, undo again, and I'm going to stick with the Ektar. Okay. So now I'm going to click on over to the edit. And the one thing I don't like about the iOS app is if you notice at the bottom, it went right to the print module. And it does this all the time because it thinks you're going to just not going to make any edits to it. I wish it would actually go all the way over to the beginning, to the source, the same way the other plugins do. You go on source and it allows you to do some editing. So you could do some exposure compensation, some temperature compensation, tint compensation, etc. I'm not going to touch that part of it. I really like that. The next module is the film. That's where we were. Okay. And again, I could change the push-pull to wherever I want it. And if you double tap the dot right there in the middle, it'll set you back to the default. Okay. Here, the next one is developer. Developer is kind of what you would do if you were working with film and you were in the Lightroom or in a dark room. Sorry, in a Lightroom. I'm thinking of Adobe. If you were in a dark room back in the old days with doing film, so you have a contrast boost you can do here. Okay, I'm gonna keep that where it was. Gamma. Okay, gamma is a very, very fine tuning. Color boost. You can boost your colors up, or you can kind of tone them down a little bit. I'm going to tone it down a little bit, actually. Okay. Next one is compression. So again, I can take an impact. It's basically like an amount slider. The impact slider is. White point kind of gives you your brightness of your whites. Tonal range. Again, it's basically your what's the word I'm trying to think? I'm trying to say here. Tonal range, your I'll post anything. I'm being very, very forgetful right now here. But you can see how it adds contrast to it. So we're going to add just a little bit here. Color density. We can kind of make it a little darker. And I like that it's very, very subtle. So sometimes on these apps, when you just slightly move the slider, it's like, boom, all of a sudden you got the full effect on there. So I like that it's very, very subtle. Expand, so you can take your dark point, and again, if you want to fade it a little bit, which is what I'm going to do here, white point, brighten it up just a tad. Color mode, normal and luma. I usually just keep that on normal. I really don't see an effect with that one. So, all right. Print, we have it on Kodak print film right now. So basically, these are different papers or films that they printed your film on. So you shot your film on a video or on your photo film, and now you either want to transfer it over to paper or to a negative film. Okay, so you can watch your video or whatever you record. So there's Fuji. There is a Kodak glossy, which for this particular one, I like the glossy one on that. And again, I could change the exposure a little bit. Again, just like you could do in the darkroom. Tonal contrast, I kind of want a lot of contrast on here. Saturation, I usually leave that on full. Color density, this one's a little bit more aggressive. Target white, that would be your white balance, so you can change your white balance. And then I usually leave analog range limiter. If you turn that off, it's a little bit more aggressive, a little more contrasty. I kind of take it off and it kind of softens up the photo a little bit. Color head, basically it's kind of like your hue saturation in Lightroom. Okay, so I could change how much yellow or blue, etc. So if I go to the right, it's blue. Go to the left, it's yellow. And the same thing with the other two as well. Shadow tone, see what the tones would be in the shadows. So usually in the shadows, you want to have a little bit bluer. Midtones, I'm going to actually make them a little bit warmer. And then my highlights, you could tone them down or you can warm them up, which is what I'm going to do here. Okay, and then again, down here, preserve exposure and impact. Impact, I might take that down sometimes. But usually I leave that at 100% and I leave preserve exposure at 100%. Film grain. Again, allows you to use different types of grain to emulate what your photos, what film would actually do to your photos. So right now it's on custom, but let me see. I'm going to switch it on over to 35 millimeter 500. Okay. And I could do the different, I could change the amount. And again, it's kind of hard to see this on the phone here, but you'll definitely see it once it's exported out there. There's also a custom setting right down here. So again, I could change it to positive or negative. Negative tends to be a little bit bigger and more aggressive. Okay. Sorry about the alerts. I have my phone on no do not disturb and it's still so. Anyway, sorry. But I usually put it on positive. The grain is a little bit finer and it's much, I think it's much more pleasing to the eye than the negative. But again, everybody's a little bit different. There may be a time when, like, if you're just shooting a black and white photo, you may want a more aggressive grain on that photo. You know, it just all depends on what the look is you're looking for. Which again, I really like this about Dehancer because a lot of your photo editing software, they have grain, but it either looks too aggressive or you can't see it at all. With here, you can really, really change it up. Like here, I could change the size of the grain, which I'll increase it a little bit. Also, too, I could change the amount of color. Again, in Lightroom, that has a grain feature, but it's monochrome. Okay, so, sorry, guys. So here I can have color in my grain, or I could turn it all the way down to monochrome, depending on what I want. So I'm going to keep a little bit of color in there as like that. All right, halation. That is it's like a red halo that kind of goes around on the high contrast areas. So let me see if I can find one here that, let's do 16 here. Okay, you can see there is like a little bit of a halo. This particular, I see this app right here. I don't like that because it doesn't have the masking on here. I wish it had the masking so you could see it. But if I take it off and use custom and then take the amplify down, see the photo looks a little bit different. I amplify it back up and then we'll go back to the 16. Again, you can see a little bit of a halo effect going around the edges there. Again, to make it emulate more like film. Okay. Bloom, same thing. It takes the highlights and it blooms them out. If this was like a nighttime shot with lights in the background, it would bloom the lights and make them look softer, a little bit hazier. Again, just the way it would be a little bit more naturally. Okay. And again, I could change my highlights. Again, this photo, it doesn't really lend itself to that particular setting. And then the last one is a vignette. So we're going to actually take that down. And what I like to do is take the feather, bring it all the way down. And there we go. Take the size, bring that down like that. And then now I can actually see the vignette. So now I can take the aspect ratio, make it more into a egg shape oval. So I can make it more like a portrait. And then now I can make it a little bit bigger. Okay. And then now I can feather it in and I can darken it or lighten it as I see fit. Okay. So there you have it. Dehancer for the iPhone and iPad. Again, I think it's a very, very good app. I think it's well worth it. If you like film emulation, again, film emulation isn't for everybody, but I tell you, the technology has really come a long way from just using a preset. And it actually allows you not only to set a profile itself, which it bakes itself in a lot better than a preset, but it allows you to manipulate the same settings as if you were in a dark room using real film. So, well, hopefully you found this review of Dehancer iOS film emulation app helpful. If you did, please click that like button and that subscribe button. It really does help. Ring that bell if you want to be notified when my next video is posted. Until next time, take care, everyone.